Imagine working 40 hours a week, all 52 weeks of the year, and only earning $13,624 annually. Despite all of your hard work, you still live 25% under the poverty line. Not only does that situation sound miserable, picture not having any bed or home to go back to after a hard day's work. Homelessness and unemployment has been an issue since the 1930s and is still an issue today in America. Homelessness has been around since the late 1800s, but it wasn't until the Great Depression when homelessness started to become a prominent problem in America. When the Depression struck, many working citizens lost their jobs and couldn't afford their housing anymore. Their only option was to take to living in the streets. Not only did these individuals lose their jobs, the economy became so unstable that they stayed unemployed for a long period of time. During this time, the homeless built small shanty towns that consisted of shacks made out of wood and garbage, and they called their neighborhood a Hooverville. The most notable Hooverville was built in Seattle, Washington. The city officials recognized these makeshift towns and made it illegal for men to settle on public ground. The government quickly took action and burned down the Hooverville, causing men to become homeless again. Today we have seen laws that can practically make being homeless illegal. Laws such as making it illegal to sleep on benches, illegal to stand on a street corner for a long period of time, and making it illegal to panhandle. The government should be helping the homeless. Instead, they are scaring them. Many things can cause someone to become homeless, but here are the bigger reasons why. Firstly, the cost of living has simply been skyrocketing. Studies have shown that nearly 32% of the country's population is living on the edge financially. The pricing of housing, food, childcare is way more expensive than it used to be. With many low-income families unable to finance their rent, it's no surprise struggling individuals find themselves homeless. Not only does the cost of living affect low-income people, it can deeply affect someone who is already homeless. More than often, a homeless person lacks the skills and knowledge to acquire a well-paying job. The only place for a homeless person to find work is somewhere that pays minimum wage. Minimum wage jobs offer little to no benefits for the employee. Not only is the employee missing out on important things like health care, they also don't get paid as much for their hard work and loyalty to the company. Even if a homeless person was able to acquire a job earning minimum wage, they still wouldn't be able to climb themselves out of homelessness earning $7.25 an hour. Imagine being in a homeless person's shoes. Is taking all that time and effort to earn a job really worth it when statistically working for minimum wage will not rescue you from homelessness? Workers everywhere have gathered in many American cities to protest so that the minimum wage is increased to a sustainable $15 an hour. Although their cries have been heard, there's still too much risk when considering raising the minimum wage. Raising the minimum wage can cause the prices of products consumers buy to increase. Also, by raising the minimum wage, companies have to hire less employees, which can cause more unemployment and homelessness. So overall, are you for or against the minimum wage? Mental health and homelessness is a common combination. The typical homeless person usually struggles with depression because of the current situation they are in. Some other types of mental illness are experienced by homeless veterans with PTSD. Drug addiction is a sluggish mental health issue that affects 60% of the homeless population. The chronically homeless especially struggle with mental health. Being chronically homeless means you've been homeless for more than 1 year, and you've been homeless 3 times out of the last 4 years. 1/4 of America's homeless population is currently chronically homeless. Having any type of mental health can affect how you perform at work or if you can even get hired at all. Not only are homeless people struggling to find housing, they are also constantly fighting their own mental issues. The government's way of helping the homeless is by offering them government-funded housing. This means that the federal government pays a portion of the rent for low-income families or a homeless person. These buildings seem to be hurting the homeless rather than getting them the help they need. The apartments where these homeless people can live can become the scenes of crime and drug addiction, which can make mental health deteriorate even more. The government needs a better way to help the homeless people rather than just giving them a place to sleep. Not only offering a roof over a homeless person's head will help them, but getting them the mental care that they need, such as therapy or rehab for drug addiction, can be the key to fighting homelessness and getting these individuals back onto their feet.